today's theme is the big role of incubators, of accelerators of startup in this ecosystem that is very alive. As I see everyone here coming from different entities, and we have the pleasure to have all these three people, very loved people with whom we have been talking before. And well, I would say that maybe this will be the best moment for you to present your entity and a little bit of the program that you're currently working on it. Okay. Go ahead, Tomas, please.
Okay, well, I'm Tomas Coca. I'm actually the responsible of the selection process. I work in Fundación Repsol. What we do is basically we're trying to lead the energy transition, and we do this by two programs. We actually run the one where I belong, which is the Entrepreneurs Fund. The Entrepreneurs Fund actually started in 2011, and so we are now in our 9th edition coming up. What we do is we help entrepreneurs related to energy, anything to do with mobility, digitalization, and basically we help them economically. We give them 144,000 euros.
Not bad.
Not bad, but the best thing is that we actually don't get any equity of the companies, and we don't take any IP of the companies. So it's, well, we are a foundation, so this is the way we work. We have a second program, which is brand new, which is just came up this last summer, and it's to do with, it's called Repsol Social Impact. As I say, it's brand new. What we're trying to do there is try to get those entrepreneurs in energy transition, but with a plus of including vulnerable groups within the companies. Okay, so we help them, we invest on them, we develop with them, and we actually accelerate them as well. And this is brand new, so it's quite a nice subject as well.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Repsol Foundation, born in 2011, as I remember.
Yeah, the Entrepreneurs Fund started at 2011, yeah.
And with new initiatives all the time growing on.
With new initiatives, yeah. We are startups as well, so we need to change.
Very good, thank you very much. Soraya, tell us about, your program and all the initiatives that you are currently going on.
Of course. Everyone hears me well? Okay, cool. So my name is Soraya. I'm working for the Airbus BizLab. What we are doing is that we are accelerating startups together with intrapreneurs. So we exist for 5 years now. We exist in India, in Alemania, in France, and in Madrid. We are doing an acceleration program that lasts 6 months. And what we are doing basically is that we are giving to startups the opportunity to prove to Airbus that they are trustable long-term partners. And how we do this? Where during the 6 months, we give the opportunity to startup to sign a proof of concept with Airbus, and then they have to deliver it within the 6 months. If the proof of concept is successful, then Airbus signs bigger contract with the startups. So obviously, you know Airbus, it's a very big company. It's very difficult to get in touch with them, very difficult to make them move. So really, the BizLab is here to facilitate the relationship between Airbus and startups.
Very good, very well explained. So Airbus BizLab is like the booster of the relation with Airbus.
Yeah, exactly. And just one thing, as you have said before, we are as well financing the proof of concept up to 50,000 euros and completely equity free, which is, we think, fair for the startups and fair as well regarding Airbus.
Very good. What about Renfe and Trend Lab initiative? Jorge, you can tell us about that?
Yes, it's a pleasure to tell you about the Trend Lab. Trend Lab is Renfe's incubator and accelerator. Renfe, as you know, probably is the Spanish main railway operator. We are in the changing phase. We are moving from a traditional railway operator to a model of integrated mobility operator. And to do this change, this strategic change, we are working in this initiative, Trend Lab initiative. It's very happy because last year our president launched Trend Lab here at the South Summit. Since then we have had 2 calls for startups. We have accelerated 8 startups. Today we have launched the third call for startups with 3 challenges. We are supporting we are supporting startups that help us solve our business challenges. The challenges of today's call are communication with a customer, customer experience, and digitalization. And Trend Lab program is a very personalized program, and we also work very strongly to connect the startups with Renfe's business units. It's a tough it's a tough task sometimes because we are a complex organization, more than 14,000 employees, a lot of decision makers, and we help the startups to connect with them.
And do you
and
have?
We also have we provide a whole bunch of services to the startups, and also 50K up to 50K equity-free grant to support them in their financing.
Sorry. So equity-free, as you
Yeah,
said.
equity-free.
Okay, if you see, all the 3 accelerators that we have here are equity-free, which is a very big benefit for the companies that want to be part of an acceleration program, so that they don't lose their control until they finish this acceleration program, and maybe there is a possibility of investing, but it's not mandatory. It's just a possibility. All right. So tell us, for example, Jorge, if you want to continue to talk about what happens with entrepreneurs that start this acceleration program with you, and this acceleration at the end, after 6 months, finishes, right? So what happened afterwards? What the relation do you have? Is there any contract relation that you can foresee?
Okay, in fact, the relationship does not end at the end of the 6 months of the acceleration. We continue with a phase of growth support that we call it growth support phase, and we continue a relationship, and we have periodic checkups with the startup and see the evolution, the situation, if we can help them and support them beyond the 6 months of the acceleration. In fact, here at Trend Lab booth, you can talk with all 8 startups from both first and the second calls. They are all here. We continue supporting them and giving them access to venture capital, to business units at Renfe, and we fully continue during 12 months. And it does not end after these 12 months, after the acceleration, because our aim is to have a long-term relationship with the startups.
Thank you very much.
One more thing, sorry.
Yes.
I remember. Very interesting thing. For example, our general manager for strategy today launched a proof of concept that we are developing with one of the startups of the first call, IOMOB, for a platform of a mobility platform that they are supporting. We are collaborating for this proof of concept. This is a real case of application of the technology of one startup at Trend Lab.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What about Repsol, Fundación Repsol, Tomas?
Okay.
As you were telling me, there are some possibilities that people continue with their contract with Repsol afterwards.
Okay, so the idea when we select the projects is to already build up a relationship between Repsol Foundation and Repsol, and this is done through trying to do pilots with them. So the goal and objective with these startups is to end up doing a pilot test within the acceleration process within Repsol. What happens afterwards? That if the pilot goes well and the pilot actually ends as a success, you have 2 options. One is that our Repsol corporate venture capital enters and invests on the startup, okay, or that Repsol becomes a client of that startup.
Right.
Even sometimes, actually, they do develop jointly for their projects with that startup. So yeah, I mean, we try to build the relations within the acceleration to follow up afterwards once they finish with us.
Very good. What about in Airbus BizLab?
Well, I'm not going to repeat because I think it's quite clear. Everyone wants long-term partnerships with startups. So yes, obviously, after the acceleration, we keep working with the startups. Why? Because we want them to sign bigger contracts with Airbus. This is where the work actually starts. I mean, you can imagine a big company like Airbus doing aircraft, doing satellite imageries, etc. It's difficult sometimes for our people to sit with the startups and like young entrepreneur and consider that they are their equal. And this is where we are here. We are here to protect the startups and to make sure that they have the best deals. The best deal, yeah, for Airbus, we are here to serve the interest of our company, but also to make sure that the startups are valued as their worth. We need them to really sign contract and
As a partner.
As a partner, really.
Not depending on anything.
Exactly.
Really as a partner.
And we need them to be able to say to a company like Airbus, my cost is this one, and this is a fair cost, and you're not negotiating because I'm younger than you, you will negotiate a little bit more than with any other partner. So this is really our role, and this is where the real tough job starts for us. Delivering a proof of concept is something, I mean, it's a job, it's a work, but then really when the proof of concept is successful and we are starting to talk about terms and conditions of a real big commercial contract, then our work really starts with the startups.
And what do you think is the most complementary entity within the ecosystem? We were talking about that before. Maybe the most complementary entity would be probably inside Airbus. So why? How does it work?
For us, one stakeholder which is absolutely key for us to be able to make this work with startup strong is procurement. Procurement basically in Airbus are the people dealing with the contract and saying yes, stamping the startup and saying yes, Airbus as a big company can work with this startup. They're certifying the startup, saying that yes, we can sign a contract with them. As you can imagine, this kind of process within such a big company can take months and months, even years sometimes. So these people are key stakeholders for us. At the very beginning, it was hard for them to really understand what we were about, what we were doing here. But with the years and with a little bit of education, we managed to make them understand that what we were doing was important, that Airbus needed to be able to quickly contract a startup. And this is now they're one of our best partners within Airbus, and we really enjoy working with them because yes, they might be not the fanciest person within a big company, but at the end they are key partners and key stakeholders.
Thank you. What about you, Jorge? What do you think? Who do you think is the best stakeholder that is more complementary with Renfe, with TrendLab?
Yeah, okay. Since we started to work in open innovation, we are open to collaborate with every stakeholder in the ecosystem. Especially, we have a strong relationship with ADIF, the railways administration, obviously. But we're in contact with universities, research institutions, and we want to have a privileged relationship with the startups, obviously. And one thing that I didn't mention before, but is very important in this complementary relationship, is that we assign a specialized mentor in Renfe to every of the startups that are in the program, and this person has the key role to open doors within the organization, to find the right people, to show the product, to make the pitch, and to introduce the solutions of the startup. And also the mentor is transferring knowledge and know-how about the market and Renfe's vision and Renfe's strategy in order to have a win-win collaboration.
Very good. Thank you very much. What do you think, Tomas, is the best thing an entrepreneur or a startup should do to be part of your program?
Well, the best thing they can do, they actually is read through the terms and conditions. Basically, in the terms and conditions, every time we put a new call, it's all the scopes that Repsol is going to be working on. I mean, we are very close with Repsol, so there are scopes that are actually working on, they want to develop, and they do it through our help as well. So the first thing is read the terms and conditions. Obviously, you need to have innovation, you need to be disruptive in your project, but clearly you have to have a solution for a problem. I mean,
Exactly.
if there is no problem, just don't give me a solution, because there's no problem, you'll find it, okay? So, as I say, innovation is key, disruptive projects are key. Obviously, you need to keep a balance between team and finance and business, but especially solving a problem, okay, a real problem.
Being in the
Even there's
scope.
those. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Go ahead, Soraya. Tell us, what would be the best thing to do?
To enter our accelerator.
Yes.
I would say be bold. We are trying to transform the aerospace industry. We are trying to create the future of this massive industry. So obviously, we won't do it with people who are scared, people who don't want to take risk. So take risk, be bold, be visionary, and be a little bit crazy. And I'm sure we'll be more than happy to hear about you if you have this type of personality. These are the kind of people we need to change the world for good and to change our industry for good.
Thank you. What about Renfe and TrenLab? Because Renfe and TrenLab is very, very focused not only in trains but in mobility, logistics, and transport, right?
That's it.
So let's see, what would be the best advice for this future entrepreneur or future startup to get in your program?
Okay, these three markets, mobility, transportation, and logistics, they are changing continuously. These markets are in a very passionate moment from my point of view, because we are seeing a lot of changes and new entrants from different sectors that are entering into mobility, and it's not anymore like it was. So we don't need to change this market, because it is changing already. We need startups that help us to lead the change. And in that sense, I want to encourage the startups to come and to talk with us in a TrenLab booth, and to know the call that we opened today, or check it at trendlab.com. And if they can help us solve these challenges that we are proposing, please take a look carefully, and especially when you apply, there is a question that is related to your value proposition for Renfe. And this is a very important point, because maybe the project is very attractive, it's very good, but if it doesn't fit with Renfe, the collaboration would not make sense. So please be very specific and put a lot of attention to this question.
And do you, like the three of you, aim at companies that are international or nationally oriented?
In our case, it's international. We actually have projects from Canada, US, Norway. So yeah, I mean, we're pretty much open to anywhere.
Very good. What about you?
Definitely same.
International, absolutely. Okay.
Our legacy is Spanish, but we are already in the process of internalization. We are already operating a high-speed train in Arabia Saudi, from Medina to La Mecca. And we are also helping the development of the first private high-speed line in the world, that is in Texas, from Houston to Dallas. And we're working in that project. We are entering also in the French market. And we are at the beginning of a really interesting story of internalization. And the startups that we are looking for are not necessarily from the world. I mean, we have international approach. discriminator select from the origin of the startup.
Very good. So international companies are super welcome to participate in those programs.
Definitely.
And well, I would ask you, how would you define yourself, Tomas? I mean, yourself as an entity, not as a person, not personally indeed, but as an entity. How would you define you, like, to capture the attention of this public that could be interested in participating in your program?
Well, I would say that we are trying to lead the energy transition, so that's something very important. We do it with, as I say, with IP free and equity free. Okay, but one thing that coming back to the question of the ecosystem, I think is worth mentioning from our basically our indicators through the startups. You can imagine how we move in the ecosystem when we actually put €1 in you, and you're actually making €4 through investment. So it's quite important that, so that means that people, investors, and private and public are actually trusting the projects that are going through the Entrepreneurs Fund in Fundación Repsol.
So let's say very productive investments, right?
Yeah. And
very,
it's not
very
all ours, actually. It's actually outside investors and investing in our projects. So it's good. It's challenging.
Very good. Soraya?
For me, it would be aerospace. If you have a company and you relate with this word, aerospace, then please come to us. International, definitely. If you feel that Madrid is not your market, Spain is not your market, well, we are in India, we are in Africa, we are in Germany, we are in France. We are hosting people from Israel, from the States. Just tell us. Airbus is pretty much everywhere, so if you are aerospace focused, if you have international ambition, BizLab should be the home for you. Also, we are focused on business. Business is really our word, our focus, definitely. You come to the BizLab, yes, you will have some experts helping you with your technology, etc. If you need it, you will have it. But the main goal of our accelerator is to create business between Airbus and between startups. So if you want to make business, if you have international ambitions, and if you relate to aerospace, please come and talk to me.
All right. What about TrenLab? Jorge, tell us about what would be the best adjectives that you would say, this is how I can define TrenLab. This is the best way of understanding.
2 words. TrenLab is personalized and connected. Personalized because we provide a completely personalized program to the startups. We analyze the needs of every of the startups that are in the program, and we propose a completely customized milestone plan in which we define the need, the mentoring that every startup needs, and the other connected because we connect with the key decision makers at Renfe to make it possible, and not only at Renfe, we also connect to the other companies in the ecosystem, in the railway ecosystem, in the mobility ecosystem, and as I said, I encourage everybody that feels that can help us to lead the change in the mobility and transportation and logistics market. Please come and let's talk.
Personalized and connected. This is actually one of the most important things that startups usually are looking for, to see that their business is seen not as a number, but as a real business that needs different things than another business that is close to them. So yes, I can think that maybe a good wrap up for this round table that is and has been great with all you is probably that accelerators have one main objective, one main target in their objectives, that is to be the link between their organization, the corporate, the real big organization where it's very difficult to interact with, because you never know who is your real partner, who is really willing to invest in you or to do a contract or to do to have a different relation. There are different kinds of relations. Well, let's say that the accelerators are this link with these corporates that are very often different to talk to. Okay, thank you very much to all of you. If you have any last message to give to the entrepreneurs, that's the moment.
Well, just one thing to say, for us entrepreneurs, it's always a mix between happiness and frustration. So, we try to combine those both, but try always to keep the happy part on the projects, okay? Because it's important for your motivation.
This is very good. Do not get frustrated.
No.
Be resilient, resistant to the failing, no problem. You can fail 5 times and you can go for success in the 6th time. There's no problem.
For me, it would be follow your instincts. I think that we are now building a massive ecosystem, European ecosystem around startups. So everyone will have their opinion about what you're doing, if it's good, if it's not good, how you should do things. I think the only person who knows where you should go and how you should do it is yourself. Your guts tell you a lot when you know how to listen to them. So just do it.
Very good.
From my side, just say that you know that to enter into relationship with a big corporation is difficult. This is why we are here. So please don't hesitate to come and talk to us because we are there to help.
Yeah. Are you available in internet? Ready, available for them?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Easy to contact? Just contact and that's it.
Yeah, and we have booth over
Yeah.
there, so you can come and visit us.
Very good.
Please do so.
Well, is there any question that maybe someone in the public will be interested in ask? Anything from the public? Yes?
Can you share some criteria you use to select startup?
Criteria
Selecting startup?
for the selection of startups. Yes, in 10 seconds?
Yeah, okay. Well, the criteria, well, as I say, it's all about keeping the balance between team, keeping the balance between your business model, and keeping the balance with the finance of the project, okay? And especially, it needs to be disruptive, and that's it. Yeah.
Disruption and balance, yes.
From our side, the team is very important. Also, the innovation behind the product. Also, the business model, that it can create a good model for the company as well, and for Renfe. And obviously, as I said, very, very important, the fit with Renfe. How your proposal can help us solve our challenges.
Innovation and business model. And Soraya?
I think for me it's the fit. Basically, if you come to us, you apply, I will go with my colleague all around Airbus telling about your startup to everyone, pretty much. If there is one person powerful enough who tells me, yes, we want to work with them, you're in.
So remember, meet the challenges that they put on the table.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you very much to everyone.